If you're not prepping your body and warming up the right way and recovering the right way, or if you're not making sure you're doing exercises that you're ready for, then that's when injuries occur.
Welcome to the Movement Driven Podcast with Dr. Greg Goldberger, where we help you bridge the gap between pain and performance. Each week, we'll share strategies, insights, and real-life applications to help you keep moving and stay driven. Now, let's get into this week's episode of the Movement Driven Podcast. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Movement Driven Podcast, and officially, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
I'm here with Dr. Greg. Greg, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, dear. Happy New Year. How was your Christmas and your holiday season?
Everything was wonderful. Obviously, a little bit lighter this year just due to my wedding being in literally like 3 days. It'll be 3 days. Yeah. 3 days. Oh my God.
You're not even here. You're not even here right now.
It's fine. Everything's fine. We're gonna still get this podcast knocked out. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. New Year's, my fiance, so very soon to be husband, works at a bar downtown as his little second side job as a bouncer. And we found out a week before New Year's that it was all hands on deck. And so I was a little bummed at first that I wasn't going to spend the New Year's with them, but then it's his cousin that owns the bar, so it's very like small family, kind of cocktail bar. And the general manager was like, "What's Dara doing? Does she also want to like make some extra cash and collect cover at the door?" And I was like, "Bet." So he was bar backing, and then I was collecting money at the door, and then when they gave us the 20-second countdown, he stopped washing dishes and then ran over to the front so I could give him his New Year's gift. Yeah. So
that is what he did.
yeah, I was jealous.
We enjoyed it. Santa worked very hard this year. Lots of late nights, but the kids had a great Christmas and good New Year. Family was in town, so yeah, we had a great time.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, it is officially 2026, and we're gonna kick off the new year. Kind of, this whole new year, new me, new mindset, resolutions, and all this stuff is always something that's super trending right now. So I really want us to talk to the person who maybe is finally taking those first steps to either getting back in shape or working towards, an injury or working out of an injury or whatever the case is, while also, our regular listeners and people who are still doing that, just good mindsets to go into the new year with whatever goals you have, whether that's I'm going to be moving for the first time or my goals are to PR or to run a marathon or to do these other things. So kind of speaking to, that January kickoff mindset that applies to, every active child and adult and those who want to be. So, we kind of want to talk about some things that are going to be best practices to helping ramp up your body for whatever those goals are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, typically in January when people are either coming to the gym for the first time or trying something new, or I'm finally going to be the year I run, and you just had to go run 5 miles on your first bout. Why do you think that we tend to see more injuries in January compared to other times of the year?
Well, I think it's a lot of what you just said, right? So we have a lot of people that are just starting a new routine. Maybe they haven't been working out for quite some time, and their New Year's resolution is to lose weight or be more active or get in shape. And I think sometimes when you're in that mindset, you're so motivated and you just want to get after it and you want to see results. And the layperson doesn't understand all that goes into that, because the way that I look at that is, even if you've been sedentary for quite some time, you're now treating your body as if you are an athlete. So then we have to look at you as if you're an athlete. And if you're not prepping your body and warming up the right way and recovering the right way, or if you're not making sure you're doing exercises that you're ready for, then that's when injuries occur, right? So I think, like I was saying, like people are so motivated and they're so focused on their goals that they don't really pay attention to other things, and injuries start to happen. And I guess your enthusiasm shouldn't outpace the readiness of your body to take on these new exercises, right? So something that is as big of a deal as getting in shape or losing weight, I think we all know by now that's not going to happen overnight, and we love it to be your New Year's resolution, but it might take the better part of this year. So let's approach it the right way so that you can stay on track, not get hurt, not get discouraged because of that little injury. Because I see it all the time. People, they go too hard too quickly, and then that bumps them off of their goals and out of their momentum. And you mentioned too, those of us that are, maybe we've been working out for quite some time. We're pretty good shape. We're a runner. We're a CrossFitter. We have PR goals, whether it's I want to finish this marathon in this amount of time, or I want to lift this much at this next CrossFit competition. If you're planning on ramping those up, are you ready? Have you been assessed by a movement expert? Like, do you have the mobility to really ramp it up? You've been good at doing what you've been doing, but if you're going to add on mileage, do you have the strength to take that as a runner? Or you're going to add on weight? Do you have the shoulder mobility to increase your snatch by that much? Or all of those types of things. Like, I think seeing a movement expert and making sure that you're on track is a good idea, especially this time of year if you're planning on reaching some new goals. And then the other thing that comes to mind too is like, most of us, even if we're active, generally speaking, you probably haven't been the last 2 weeks. Your diet has been not the greatest, more salt intake, more alcohol, lots of sweets. So your body, you probably sleep, staying up midnight here. If those of you that are also parents, there's lots of late nights leading up to Christmas. I can attest to that. There's lots of wrapping to do and things to prepare. And so there's just lots of stuff going on this time of year. So lots of reasons why your health is already kind of deteriorated. So just keep that in mind these first 2-3 weeks of January. Like, it's going to take a little bit just to get your hydration levels and things back up and just get back in the groove of things. So if you're just not even setting new goals, you're just returning to workouts, it's something to think about too.
Yeah, absolutely. So how can someone tell if their body is ready to actually handle more volume or intensity? You just spoke on, eating sweets, not having a lot of sleep, and then getting proper hydration in.
Mm-hmm.
So those are three huge key things to take into mind. But for the person who is like, okay, well, what do I have to do? Like, how can I tell when I'm like ready to go? What is like the best way that they can kind of assess that?
I think you have to constantly do self-assessments, right? Like, you should always be assessing before, after, or I guess after each workout. How did that workout go? Did I feel like I was in control of my movements throughout? Did I feel like I was doing things in the right form with proper speed and I wasn't forcing the movement pattern? Did I have joint pain with certain movement patterns? That's something that shouldn't happen. I think is, especially as we get older, people are like, oh, no pain, no gain mentality. Like, the no pain, no gain mentality is more of like a mental frustration of workout, of trying to get through the mental pain, not necessarily a physical pain. If your right knee is hurting, your left knee is not, there's something that your body's trying to tell you. So pay attention to those things. The thing with injuries, it's the volume is usually the number one thing. It's increasing volume too quickly. I see this with runners all the time. They're trying to increase mileage, or they're a new runner. It's not necessarily that you're trying to get to this mileage, just that you need to spread it out more. And that's all it is. So make sure your recovery feels predictable, right? If you increase and you do way more intensive an exercise and you have more soreness, then that makes sense. But if you're getting more soreness routinely as a pattern and your exercises are not progressing, then that obviously doesn't make sense. So I think it's just paying attention to those little things and knowing your body well and respecting the volume increases for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year we talked a lot about mobility on different episodes, and stability and things like that. So what role does mobility and stability play before increasing training load? Whether that's want to just increase from where I'm at, or I'm going from couch to fill in blank here.
Well, I think you always have to have the requisite amount of mobility and stability, right? These are, blanket words, but essentially we're looking at you as a whole. Does each of your joints have the amount of mobility where you can control a large range of motion that's necessary for that sport or activity? And then are you stable through that entire motion? Do you have control of it? And so I think especially for those that are just getting into it, that's where I mentioned before, like, see a movement expert. Like, I've mentioned this on previous podcasts, but you see your PCP, you see your optometrist, you see your dentist, you see whatever doctors you need to if you've had some previous issues, but nobody like goes and sees a movement expert or a physical therapist ahead of time. You wait till the injury happens. Like, I see these things all the time. I know the patterns. We can pick out, hey, you have X, Y, and Z. You're gonna have back pain any day now, any year now. Like, let's do these things and try to prevent it. So, always see your local practitioner. But I think to sum it up, like, it's basically like mobility gives you the options of how to move, and then stability keeps your joints and your body safe within those options. And then when you load too much outside of these ranges where the joints are safe or you have mobility options, that's when the weaknesses are exposed and that's when injuries happen. So it's just a matter of staying within your strengths, basically.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense and such a good mindset to go into with 2026. Whether it's you're going from nothing to something, or you're going from something to more of something.
Mm-hmm.
The good idea is to just like with for the remainder of this year, like you said, you're gonna you're gonna get your annuals here and your annuals there and your dentist appointments twice a year and all this other stuff. Include a movement assessment in that as well, so that you know where you're at and where your levels can truly increase from there.
Yeah. And then, like, obviously, I think that should be a preventative type thing. But obviously, if you're having recurring pain, don't wait. It's not going to just go away. You're not 12 anymore, sorry to say. When you're 12, it went away. It doesn't go away when you're 32, 42, 52. I'm sorry. Just stating facts here. So if you're having a recurring pain of any kind, come see us. If you have asymmetries from right versus left that you can tell, then that means there's a lot that you can't tell are there too. So let somebody put their eyes on you and see where these asymmetries and how do we make them more symmetrical to prevent loading a joint asymmetrically, and that's what creates injuries. And then if you're also like somebody, if you're having plateaus in your performance, if you've been trying to increase volume, if you've been trying to increase your PR, you're working with your coaches from a strength and conditioning standpoint or a running standpoint, and you're not necessarily hurt, but there might be something missing there. And that's where, our set of eyes, we're trained differently and we're looking at your body differently than those experts that you're working with. So, for instance, I see it a lot of times with my baseball players. Like, they'll come in, their velocity is decreasing or plateauing as they're getting older. And that doesn't make sense. They have dead arm essentially, and we need to treat it the right way. They don't have any pain. They don't have anything other than their performance is plateauing. That's the only sign I see, but that it can be a precursor to injury. So if you're not making the gains that you expect to be making, come see us.
If you're in the Jacksonville area, there are certain gyms that we have partnerships with that we do free injury assessments at throughout the whole entire year. You can also come for a discovery call and see what's going on and get something scheduled for your movement assessment so that you can make this year your year, whether that's from nothing to something, or, you want to PR in the gym, in a race, run further, lift heavier, whatever that case is. Just, come to our website, movementdriven.com. You can book a discovery call. And then you can also just come in and get assessed and make this year the year that you make it happen. So thanks, Dr. Greg, for chatting with us. We'll keep this one short and sweet. And we're looking forward to a great 2026 and Happy New Year, everyone.
See you next time, guys.
Thanks for tuning in to the Movement Driven Podcast with Dr. Greg Goldberger. Want to see how we're helping people in Jacksonville bridge the gap between pain and performance? Head on over to movementdriven.com. Until next time, keep moving, stay driven.